Hi. Well, AOC, your Green New Deal, blah blah blah. Well, that shit is insane. But here's how you might be able to get it to not kill your country. If it actually comes to pass, that is. One, instead of, say, removing uh, natural gas based, non-renewable gas based energy production, try driving the results, the exhaust for lack of a better term, through great big greenhouses, even tanks filled with plants that will basically process that. And then you remove the excess biomass whenever it's needed, and you can even use that as a resource or just bury it for it to become later coal. Heck, you can mix it with a sewage that also just gets sinks down and blah blah, and eventually produces methane, which will also be used in those. So that's one. Another, if you're going to use something green, blah blah blah, I would say try to produce a hurricane tower. Basically, a wind tower, only much wider, much deeper. That instead of using cold water, water-based cold in the center to heat the sides of the building, and use barriers between that hot area and the cold area, so that the cold area gets properly pulled down. That way you can, actually have energy and not spend too much energy for it. It can even be based on that exhaust from the factories that is so hot, Just saying. And yes, that would be very expensive, but it would be not nearly as, yeah, you get the idea. Now, as for don't work, you say? Okay. Well, that's not going to happen. Here's what you can do. A sort of a workaround around that BS of that safe income thing. No. Instead of a big significant income, you have a packet that is worth about as much as 1% of a cent, but contains tokens that, if they were dollars, it would be like 10 years worth of the average income. Okay? And now any money of that is what you have without usual forex market, i.e. just a little bit every time you have an exchange. As they accrue more value, they'll begin to use them in their own lives, and then the real value come in. Basically, any sales tax is non-used in those cases, so people will actually prefer to use them. Now, as soon as that thing is worth like $2, bang, convert it all into a single dollar, actual dollar. The government gets a whole bunch of money, basically, and the people are beginning to use the next token. Okay, so that. As for free healthcare for all, how are you going to work around the slavery problem? Because doctors need to eat. Whatever.